Okay, what we want to talk about today is really leveraging your relationships, so you'll be successful in your career. And these are the items that I'll be, chatting about today. I'll give you my philosophies, talk about, who are our relationships, the types of networks we have, and the reason we have these networks and why we build them. One thing which people sometimes have an issue is, how do you maintain your relationships? We'll talk about that. Talk about really leveraging these relationships, how they could help us. Okay. And we'll also talk about how you approach people in your network for help. We'll talk about how the relationships could help us. And then we'll just wrap it up as we go through it. Once again, if you have any questions during the presentation, if I'm on a screen where you have a question, just shout it out. If it's something else that you have in mind, put it in the chat box and Joyce will monitor the chat box. Just preface your question with the word question, okay? Here's my philosophies. That basically being in transition today, and it has been like this for years, is really permanent. Landing, that's only temporary. So as you will see, if you take a look at your resume in general, you've been in numerous positions, numerous companies, and it's continuing on today, where don't expect to be with a company for another 10 years. It just doesn't work that way. And relationships are really needed to advance your career. The keys to success in your career are: one, ABC, everybody. It's always to being connected and connecting to your network. So it's connected to the people that you currently have in your network and reaching out and connecting with new people who then you will bring into your network. AVP, always being positive. As I've said before, if you're not positive, you will not land. You have to be positive and you have to be prepared, because at any time, a job opportunity could be presented to you. I had one of my friends in one of my groups. She was in transition now. It was about 11 months. And she was given an offer, which she was really struggling with. It didn't meet her expectations or her needs. And we chatted about it, and she ended up not taking it. And 2 days later, she was at another networking group that she'd never attended before. She met someone there. And when they were in a breakout room, talking about themselves, the individual she was telling about what she does, he said, I have a friend who might need you. He connected my friend and to his friend on Thursday night. My friend was given an offer by Friday night. So you never know when it's going to happen. Okay? And the two most important words that you have to keep with you, everybody, are these two here. It depends. Okay? Your actions are really dependent upon the circumstances that are in front of you. You have to think strategically. There is no rules here in networking. Okay? No rules in job search. So your actions depend upon the circumstances and your creativity. So keep that in mind as you go through this. Who are our relationships? Well, we have our family relatives. Okay. We have our friends, current and past. We have our current and past colleagues, our college alumni, our business customers and vendors, the people we meet when we're in transition or in transition contacts, recruiters become our relations, our neighbors, members of our religious organization and volunteer groups, and people we meet every day. That could be the cleaners, the mailman, the pharmacist, the grocer, the person who cuts your hair, anybody, okay? The idea is to build relationships with as many people as you can. What I suggest you do is make a list of all the people you know or knew, and especially the people who you knew, who you haven't been in contact with for several years. They'd love to hear from you, and you don't know how they could possibly help you at this point. But make a list, reach out to them, okay, contact them, increase your network. We have different networks for our relationships because relationships are built in these networks. And here are the different networks you could have. You could have your personal network, your friends and your family. You have your in transition network, the people who you meet when you start in going to these different in transition groups, networking groups. You have your business network, and that's the network when you are in your position, the people you deal with every day, your colleagues, your vendors, your customers, okay? These are the people you meet all the time. And then what I have, or what you have really, is a combined network where you might have a personal friend who's also a business associate. Or you might have a person in transition who's a personal friend. So these three over here, they really overlap and they become part of a combined network. Why do we build these networks? Number one, it really makes us feel good. It's human nature to meet people, okay, get to know people, makes you feel good. Your relationships can also help you open the doors to different opportunities and to different people. This is what it's all about. And with our relationships, when we're in transition, we want to get what I call air. And it's very simple. You want to get advice, you want to get information, and you like to get referrals. So gathering air really can help you in your job search. At the same time, what we want to really do in going through this, in gathering the advice and the information and the referrals, we really want to also get business leads to help us find the position that we really desire. And when you really look at it, our networks, our relations, they really provide to us a support network. When we're feeling down, they can bring us back up. When we need to speak with people just to get advice, they could give us advice. If we're thinking about something, we have an idea, they could be a sounding board for us. Listen to what we have to say. And then they might say, well, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Or, you know, this sounds pretty good, but maybe you might want to tweak it this way. Did you think about it this way? So These are some of the reasons we really build on relationships. And really what it does, it sets the stage for future assistance. Networking takes a while. That's why it's called networking. You have to work at it, okay? Don't expect immediate gratification. Okay, you build these relationships and you work on that. All right, keep that in mind. How do we maintain these relationships? Well, as I say, it takes time. And you really have to work at networking. It doesn't just happen. If you don't work at it, you'll find that relationships start falling apart. It's out of sight, out of mind. So keep that as you go through your hunt. My ABC is really where you follow up with people on a continual basis. And this is not only when you're in transition. Okay. You, in my opinion, okay, when you land, you should still be spending 5 to 10% of your time networking. When you're in transition, obviously, it's a lot more. But once you land, let your network know that you've landed. Thank those people who have helped you, but let them know what you're doing. All the people in your network, let them know. Okay, you can make telephone calls with your network. You can send birthday cards or holiday cards to people in your network. You can send congratulatory cards or notes. These could be e-cards. They don't have to be physical cards. Okay. You can send articles of interest to people. If you know that somebody likes flying and you read an article about flight, you might want to just send that note. Just make an attachment that says, came across this article, thought you might be interested. It's as simple as that. Okay. You can always meet with people. Well, right now, meeting live is somewhat difficult. It's a restricted type situation. Hopefully, with all the vaccines that are on the horizon right now and the ones that we're currently using, hopefully we're going to be able to have live meetings sooner than later. But at the same time, you still can meet people virtually. And you can have what I'll call a virtual cup of coffee. Okay. Meeting people on, these platforms like Zoom or GoToMeeting or Skype, WhatsApp, things of that. It's as simple as making a phone call, but at least you get to see the people. But you should be following up with people in your network. How could they help you? Well, they can provide introductions to other people, and some of these people might be what I consider POIs, people of influence. These are the people who can connect you with other people who have influence over other people. These people here could help you in if you found a company, a target company, they possibly could help you with people inside the company. It could be actually a hiring manager, you don't know. But this is what your relationships do. They provide these introductions. They also will provide you with advice, as we talk about. Have you thought about doing this? You've done this before, but maybe you might want to take a different approach to it. They could provide information regarding your strategies that you're taking, or they can provide you with other strategies that you haven't thought about. And obviously, they can support you when you are down. Okay? It's been a miserable week. You've gotten 3 no's on interviews, and you're just really feeling down the dumps. Well, contact one of your relationships, speak to them, have a cup of coffee with them, bring you up real quick. They also can provide recommendations to others about you. They can tell everybody, Alex is a great guy. You should get to meet Alex. He's really competent in the work he does. He might be a good asset in your company. It's as simple as that. And they can provide you with leads if they come across it. If they hear in their network that somebody's looking for a financial person, they could tell you, I've been told that XYZ company is looking for a controller. If you're interested in XYZ, let me know, because I have a friend who could connect you with someone in XYZ. Okay, and they also provide you with, I'll call it constructive criticism, and they're honest with you. Sometimes they'll be blunt, but they'll be honest with you. And sometimes you need that. And what they do, your relationships really can help you focus on what you want to do. They can give you different ideas. Okay, they give you help. There'll be a sounding board. They could, question you on follow-up. What do you think happened at this point? What else could you do? Things of that nature. And how do we leverage our relationships? The one thing that you really need to do, if you have a relationship that you want to ask to do something for you, you must know your goal, what you want to achieve before you ask for that help. Okay? And when you ask for help, make sure it's something where the person who you are asking can actually do it for you. Okay? And it's not, do me a favor, I'm looking for a job, help me find a job. You have to be more direct. I'm looking to meet someone, someone in your network. Okay? I'd like to speak with this person. Is it possible for you to connect me with that person? It's a win-win. Okay? Think strategically how to reach the goal that you want. And then once you know what your strategy is and what your goal is, then you could look at your relationships and determine who in my relationship could get me where I want to go. And that's what you want to do. Okay, and determine how the relationship could help you. Joyce, we have somebody in the waiting room. Okay.
Yeah, I let him in. He's having trouble.
Okay. And contact your relationship. Tell them how they can help you. Guide them through the process on how you want them to help you. Okay. If there's a position that you want, and you want to be connected to one, let's say, for instance, one of my relationships, you're going to tell me you want me to connect you. My first question is why. So tell me why you want to connect with it. And if because of the position, let me know how you see yourself qualified in that position. So that when I speak to my relationship, I can basically say, Leonard's really good for your organization. You're looking for this person in this, with this skill set. This is exactly what he has. You should speak with him. Okay? And, tell your relationship why you need their help. Guide them. You want to create what I call a win-win situation. Give your relationship the opportunity to help you in a way that they could help you. In this way, they feel good. They're winners because they helped you. They can do something for you. You win because you get the outcome that you want. Okay. When we, approach people in our network, bear this in mind. If a person, one of your relationships, is not in transition, their availability may be limited. They might have a busy day in their office. So in those cases, try to contact them in the evening. Or contact them early before they start work. Be cognizant of what their availability is. And you could call them, first time, and ask the question: is this a good time that we could chat? If it's not, let me know when I could contact you at a more convenient time and make it a lot easier. Okay. And if you're looking for a position, share the job specs with the individual so they can see what you're looking for, and they can give some comments. I could see that you're pretty good at this, this, and this, but this over here, this is one of the must-haves. Tell me more on what you have with one of these must-haves, because I'm not fully aware on how you can do this. So tell me. Let them know why you are a good fit at this position. And what you want to do when you chat with your relationships, be aware that your elevator pitch to them, the ask, okay, basically follows the 3 W's and the 4 C's. Who you are, what you do, and why it is of value to the beneficiary. You want to make it clear, concise, compelling, and consistent. Okay? So keep that in mind as you go through this. And concise, this is a really good word. I made a presentation the other night to a group, and there weren't a lot of people. And the elevator pitches, there was no time limit. So some people were talking for about 5 minutes, talking about themselves. I didn't even have a chance really to finish the presentation. So you have to make sure that your pitches are concise. All right, keep that in mind. Ask advice on how you could possibly leverage some of their relationships. Let them know what you're looking for. Let them know that this is where you want to work. Okay. Make sure that your relationships know what's happening with you. And what you want to do, you want to make them winners. You want to make it a win-win situation. Let me tell you, if you ask your relationship to do something that they cannot do, they generally feel pretty lousy. And that's not good. You want to make them feel real good.
Marty?
Yes.
I just want to ask you this question. Somebody had a question, and it really pertains to this, so I thought I should stop.
Go ahead, shoot.
What is the best way to obtain a list of alumni that I graduated from college? Should I send a standard email to the Alumni Association? Will they release the names? And I just wanted to bring that to your attention because we do have our FANG directory that we, a lot of people don't know that you can find your alumni right through the FANG directory.
Thank you, Joyce. As Joyce says, a couple things, okay? Number one, you could go into the FANG directory through the search command, and you could put in the name of the college. And then you get a list of those members who went to that college. That's number one. You could reach out to the college alumni, the group, the college alumni group, and you could ask at the college, you want to be part of the alumni. Is it possible to get a list of the other alumni? And generally what will happen, the college would do that. The other way, what you could do, if you go out to LinkedIn and you look under different groups in LinkedIn, and there are really, groups that just from some of the colleges, alumni groups out in LinkedIn. There's alumni groups in Facebook. So you can find a lot of different alumni groups. And if you're unsure, do a Google search. Do a Google search on your college. Let's say, I'll give you a good one that really has a strong alumni, Penn State. Penn State alumni group, put a question mark, and you'll get the link to go to that alumni group. So that's how you do it. Okay? Hopefully I cleared up that question. Joyce, any other questions at this moment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Try to locate your yearbook from college. That's true. But thoughts on LinkedIn, open to work status. Does this help, or do recruiters and hiring people network see this as negative?
It depends. Okay. It depends on how you feel. Okay. Do they see it as negative? Not recruiters. Okay. Recruiters are looking for you. If you hit the setting open to work, you could do two things. You could, in LinkedIn, you could put open to work with or without the circle around your face. Okay. What the recruiters do in the recruiter packages, basically go for the setting that you're open for work. At the same time, if the recruiter already has in LinkedIn Recruiter has set up certain criteria for the position that they're looking for, it's called a project. And if the project indicates they're looking for somebody from, graduated this year, a certain year group, has certain skills that they can list, been to certain colleges, right? When the individual in LinkedIn makes their setting open to work, that recruiter receives notification that that individual is open for work and meets the needs or the criteria that they set in the project. So they will automatically connect with you, all right? Relating to the picture, it's up to you, okay, if you want it or not, okay? What it does help you, it helps in that other people in your network who may not know that you're looking, they'll see your picture with the circle and know that you're looking, and they might reach out to you. But bear in mind, you should be reaching out to them, okay? At the same time, other people who may just be looking through LinkedIn and they see your picture and they're a non-recruiter, they might then really want to connect with you. It's up to you. But just bear in mind, even if you do not have that circle around your picture, but you have the settings set, the recruiters will find you. Okay? Hopefully I answered that question. Joyce, anything else?
Well, Jim wants to know where this open to work setting is.
You go into settings, it's in the priority settings. Okay, you have to look through it, but it's there. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, let me continue. Let's look at this over here, okay? What we can do is that your relationships, they can arrange physical introductions to us, to people, okay? They could also make telephone calls to people for us. They could request people meet with us. It's opening the door, okay? Jim's a good individual. He has some real good background. I think it could be a real asset to your company. Could probably add a lot of value. Okay, even if you don't have a position, you should get to know Jim. Give him a call. Or if you want, I'll connect the two of you. Okay. And they can, as I say, ask their relationships to help you. You can make LinkedIn introductions for us to other people. They can send letters and emails to people for us. As I say, your relationships can be POIs, or they can connect you with POIs. Okay, they could connect you with the hiring managers, industry experts, the executives at individual companies. Okay, or what I consider master networkers, who could then connect you with other people. Right? Take advantage of your relationships. And in today's environment, because so many people are working remotely, what you have to consider is that, you could be working for a California company and work out of New Jersey or New York because people are working remotely. So you can expand your target companies. And when you expand your target companies, you could then leverage more and more relationships you have. So consider that. And what they do, our relationships, they help us evaluate our strategies. They're really good as a sounding board, for our ideas. And one of the important things that they could do for us is help us think out of the box. They could, ask you questions. Have you thought about this? Why do you want to do that? And as you start in, speaking more and more with your relationships, you could then come up with other different strategies. And you could then think of things that you didn't think of before. So it's really a good idea to start, if you have to discuss things with your relationships. Okay, once again, they can, identify the people who you should be networking with, or the networking groups that you should be part of. They can look over your paperwork. They can look at your resume, give you some suggestions on your resume. They can look at your, marketing plan. Take a look at it and say, well, you really should be doing this instead. Okay. They can point out, people you should be approaching. And they do provide emotional support for you. And as I say, they can help you focus. Okay. What we have is that, good, we have another question? No? Okay. Your relationships could tell you the different, developments in certain industries that you might not be aware of. Okay. Some of the developments that are happening within the organizations that you want to, have on your target list. They can talk about the company culture that you have. This will be a company culture is really, really important. Not only when you're doing your interviewing, okay, but when you're deciding, is this a place I really want to work? And what they also can tell you is the personality of the different people who you may be meeting, their relationships. Okay. They can tell you this person, if you started talking to this person about this person's pets, especially his dog, he loves his dog. Okay. You can have a real good discussion and who really like you real quick. So keep that in mind. At the same time, don't discuss anything about the Yankees with this guy. Okay. he is a Yankee hater, not one to have a discussion. He's really a big Red Sox fan. So if you want to talk about the Red Sox, he'll be okay. Things of that nature. Okay. The unique things that people want to discuss, the likes and the dislikes, and identify the key players within an organization. Yes, you're going to meet my friend, but my friend will really tell you that, you know, the key people you really have to meet are so and so and so and so. Okay. And these are what your relationships can provide to you. This information that's really that's really, really helpful that you cannot necessarily find out there. Okay. But as I said, they provide us with emotional support. They'll help keep us positive, help us see clearly, help us focus. What they also can do is have meetings with you and really, you know, hold you accountable for your progress or lack of progress in your search and help you stay on course. You can meet with your relationship, you know, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, all right? You could have a group of relationships be what I consider an inner circle, who you could really have, you know, meetings with, where you have 3 or 4 people in a meeting and tell about you know, talking about your progress, what you're looking to do, okay? And they could really, you know, give you some great suggestions and, you know, really hold your foot to the fire, so to speak. Okay. The recommendations they can provide, they can recommend us to their relationships. They could recommend us to the hiring managers. What they also could provide for us is recommendations on our LinkedIn profile. Now, on LinkedIn, okay, just bear in mind, there's over 900,000 recruiters on LinkedIn. And when they, you know, are reaching out to you, one of the things that they'll look at is on your profile. You know, obviously, you know, what your skill sets are, et cetera. But what also they can do is look at your recommendations. And companies that are interviewing you can also look at your recommendations. And when they do that, that could, you know, sway their decision to hire you if you have some really, really good recommendations out there. And especially if you have a lot of real good recommendations out there. Okay? It goes to point to what type of person you are. And you might not have all this time to talk about these recommendations in an interview setting, but the recruiters and the companies can read through your profile on your recommendations. Okay. They'll talk about, you know, people that you should interact with. Okay. The opportunities, they can tell us about the job openings that they know. They could also hire us in their organizations if there's positions available in their organization. You know, you have an immediate recommendation. You don't have to worry about a gatekeeper. Okay. They also can influence other people to hire us within their company or within another company. Okay. If they know what your skills are and your background, they also can be looking for opportunities and help you find other opportunities that you may not be aware of. They could be speaking to others about you, okay, telling other people that you're in transition, you're really good in what you do, you know, you'd be a catch for any company that would need a finance person, your caliber. Okay. Just remember this. relationships basically are what I consider, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. In all likelihood, everyone, your close relationship, the first level, may not be the person who helps you find the position. It might be through their relationship to another person whose relationship is to another person whose relationship is to another person. But that's why we build relationships. Okay. Just to wrap this up, relationship building, which is what we are talking about, it really equals successful networking. Look, 45 to 95% of job leads come through networking. That's your hidden job market. And so if you have good relationships, and you network very well, you could find positions rather quickly. Okay. They help build air. We want to get advice, information, and referrals. That's why we use them. You have to, when you're, going to your relationships for help, think strategically. See who could possibly help you and how they can help you. And you could brainstorm with your contacts, with your relationships. Maybe they could do something that you're not even thinking about. What you want to do is guide your relationships to be winners. So it's a win-win situation. And just remember, everybody, relationship maintenance requires ABC and ABP. You always have to be connected with your network. Now, if you haven't really been in contact with your relationships, let's say for 6 months, for a year, 2 years, 3 years, okay? And you feel embarrassed, how am I going to contact this person? Okay. What am I going to call up and say, I need your help? Okay. Help me, I'm in transition. You're not going to necessarily do that. What I recommend you do, just contact the person and say, I was thinking about you the other day. It's really been a long time since we've been connected. I wish this didn't happen, but I want to make it better now. Let's chat. Let's catch up with each other. Let's find out what we've each been doing. And it's as simple as that.
Marty.
Yes.
Lamar, I'll ask the question, Lamar. Why it feels it's so important to tell your network when you land, so you never stop networking after you land. You continue networking, right, Lamar? Do you want to add to that?
Marty, I've heard you speak a number of times. This is by far your best and the most important. I'm getting writer's cramp from taking notes.
Number one, I could have saved you the writer's cramp.
I know,
I'll send out the slides. Go ahead.
I know, but when I write it, I remember it.
Okay.
And what I have found is the greatest issue right now is people treat relationships like transactions. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to treat it as a relationship. Once you have a relationship, it's a two-way street. So as Marty said, if you have ideas for them, share it. If you have contacts for them, share it. The biggest frustration I have, and I chair the Cleveland chapter, the biggest frustration I have is people land and they don't even tell me. They don't even tell me after I've introduced them to the company that they landed with. A surefire way to destroy a relationship is to not keep them in the loop. People want to help you. They really want to help you. But if you don't keep them in the loop and you don't stay top of mind, you may be missing some tremendous opportunities.
Lamar, thank you. Words of wisdom. Everyone, listen. You know, you have to keep your relationships abreast of where you are in your search. And as Lamar says, when you land, and it's not if you land, it's when you land. Everyone here is going to land. It's just a matter of time. When you land, reach back and tell people. Thank those who have helped you. Okay. Those people in your network who weren't able to help you, so to speak, let them know that you landed and where you have landed. Okay. Close the loop. And yes, you know, many times people who land do not reach back to the people who have helped them. And it's really, you know, somewhat annoying when, you know you've helped this person and there's silence on the other end when they land. I can tell you the good thing that we do here in the Bergen chapter, and I've been doing this for years now since we started. We keep track, and we really encourage members of the chapter that when they land, to let me know. And what happens, I have my own little database of people who have landed, the position they landed at, and the company they landed at. And this enables me, when somebody new is looking for a position in a certain company, I then could say, oh, you know, Joe Smith, he's a Bergen chapter member. He works there now. This is his position. We'll connect you to him. And that makes it a lot easier, okay, to help other people. Okay, it's a two-way street, as you say, Lamar. You know, let people know that you landed, thank them. But at the same time, when you do that and you tell them where you land, it's going to be, you know, pay it forward when other people get sent, you know, when people, you know, reach out to you in your new position. So thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it.
Marty, I have one more.
Go ahead.
When you come in second, let people know that as well, because particularly the ones that have been, what do you call it, references for you and the like, let them know you come in second because they really want to help you, and you never know when something else has come up.
That's a very good point. But then the question is, did you really come in second, third, or fourth? You know, they'll tell you came in second. No one has ever come in third, fourth, or fifth. But the point that you really have to do, all right, two things. Number one, as Lamar says, let your network know that the search isn't over and this is what happened. At the same time, reach to that company that rejected you and let them know the following. You know, you're disappointed that you were not selected number one. You really would still like to work for the organization because you think it's a really good organization. You want to thank them for the time they spent with you, interviewing you for the position. And you'd like to be able to contact them in about 60 to 90 days to just stay in touch. When you do that, first of all, you set yourself apart from the other people who did not make the number one slot, okay? Because you're thanking them for their time. Number two, by reaching back to them and letting them know you will reach back to them in 60, 90 days, okay? They are expecting you to follow up with them 60 to 90 days. They might forget about it, but when you do connect with them again in 60, 90 days, you do not know what the number one person who they did select is performing. And most people, okay, and I came across a stat the other day in reading, a lot of the people who land, okay, that they came up with, those who leave the company when they landed, generally leave within 60 days. So if the individual who was selected number one is not performing well or may have left, and you reach back to the company in 60, 90 days, you have another bite at the apple, so to speak. So keep that in mind, everybody. Okay? And finally, just remember this, that jobs are temporary, but relationships are permanent as long as you work on them. Okay? Being in transition right now, everybody, it's a journey. Okay? Really, there's some parts you're going to control. You can control it, and then control it. For those things that you cannot control, let them go. Don't waste your energy trying to control things you cannot control. But on this journey, what you want to do, you want to learn. Learn what it's all about. Learn from your mistakes. Experiment. Do things different. Be unique. Okay? And really, enjoy it. Okay? You are reaching out. You are meeting new people. You are experiencing things you have not experienced before. Yes, there'll be stress. There's always stress. Yes, there'll be some disappointment along the line. But, look at all the positives. Okay, you get to know more about yourself than you did before you entered this situation. Okay, you will get to know many, many people along the way. You will get to really know those people who you can depend upon to help you, and those people who just say they can help, but they really don't. Okay. And in most cases today, when you land, you generally find a position that's better than you had before, and the compensation is generally equal or better than you had before. So keep that in mind, everybody, as you are on this journey. And with that, this is my information. If you want to contact me, best is my cell, 201-919-2607. My email is martylatman@gmail.com. If you want to link with me, here's my LinkedIn address. Okay. I'm more than happy to link with you. I'm more than happy to help you, as other members of the FANG are here to help you. And you can help other people on this meeting. Any other questions?
Yes, Marty, from Mike Fleshman. He says, I know somebody who transitioned from business to teaching. He's afraid of telling his contacts in business. He's doing this switch because he
really?
will be upset. What do you advise?
Tell everybody this is what you're doing. Come on. Okay, be proud of what you've done. Okay, and let them know why you accepted the position as a teacher, an educator. Okay, there could be a number of different reasons they do it. But look, you don't want to be ashamed or afraid to tell anybody this is where you landed. Okay, reach out and let people know about it. Okay, this is another opportunity for you to tell people this is what I'm doing. Okay, this is where I am. Maybe I can help somebody. This is the experience that I'm going to do. This is how I will help others. So don't hide it. Put it out there. Okay. Anybody, anything else, Joyce?
Marty, what do you mean PRV? PRV?
PRV.
Okay, can you share?
Mine. Okay, everybody. My PRV. When you are making basically your resume, and you put your bullets on your resume. Okay. You want to have bullets on your resume that really show you have had value. And when you are interviewing, when you are being asked questions, you want to be able to show how you have created value for the other companies that you have worked for. Okay. No one has to hire you. Okay. No one has to hire you. What generally happens is that they hire you because they have a perceived notion in their mind from what you told them that you will add value to their organization. Therefore, on your resume or in your stories that you tell during your interview, you want to craft them as, I'll call it, a PAR-V. And you could do it different ways, but the PAR-V is as follows. P stands for there's a problem that existed at the organization. A is the action that you took for the problem. R is the result of your action to the problem. And V is the value that the company experienced as a result of your result from your action to the problem. Now you can change that in different areas. You can first say, I increased the organization's profitability by $3 million by instituting different procedures which helped minimize the amount of uncollectible receivables that existed at the company. Or you might put it a different way. The company's DSO was 53 days. Through procedures, I reduced that to 22 days and increased the amount of collectability by $3 million. Okay. The key to everything that you do on this search, in your paperwork, on your resume, in your elevator pitch, or in your stories, is to show people that you have created value. And when you look at your resume, especially, follow what I call the so what theory of resumes. I invented this. The Marty Latman so what theory of resumes. Read a bullet, and at the end of the bullet, say, so what? Give you a for instance. I've looked at a resume I picked up, Chief Financial Officer, was this person's position. First bullet, in charge of financial activity for the company. So what? Don't you think that a chief financial officer should be involved in the financial activity of a company? Okay. Had 125 direct reports. So what? What's the purpose? Tell me. What does it mean? What's the value? Think about it, everybody. Every bullet that you have on your resume, read it over and ask at the end of the bullet, so what? And if you're not showing there is a value that you created, think about using the bullet or changing the bullet to indicate a value. That's what it's all about. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. Okay, everyone, this is what we're going to do. Go down to the chat. Click on the chat. The bottom of the chat on the far right, there are 3 dots. Put your mouse over the 3 dots. It says more. Click on that. There is now another drop-down menu, and the first bullet over there is Save Chat in blue. Click on it. You're back in the chat box, and it says in green, Chat Saved, and it'll say Show in Folder. Click on Show in Folder. When you click on Show in Folder, it will show you where on your computer the chat has been saved. The chat is generally in text format. You could take it, copy it, and put it into Word, and then you'll save it in a Word document, okay? What we will be doing in the next day or so, everyone who's at this meeting, we will send out the slides, and we will send out the list of the people who were here, the list of attendees with a lot of your contact information. What I suggest you do with the list of attendees and the chat, find out more about the people who are on this call. Build relationships with the people who are here. Get to know each other. See how you can help each other. Do what one would call networking. It's networking, networking, networking. Okay? I wish you all luck. Don't forget the Bergen chapter on Thursday night. Okay? Paul Sikell is really good. He'll have some, a good presentation. Next Monday, we'll talk about dealing with recruiters. Okay. With that being said, I wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe. If you haven't already and you could get a vaccination, get one. Okay. And as Roy Rogers used to say with Dale Evans, happy trails to you until we meet again. Good luck, everybody. So long.
Thanks, Marty.
Okay.